watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show where we take your own stock-specific related queries, address it to top market experts, and you can get answers from such experts live on this show. So what is the way to participate on this show in case you have a query on the stocks in your own portfolio? Well, it's very easy. There's number of flashing on your screens. That's a WhatsApp number. Send in your questions with your name, location, the question details as well as your contact details, and we will take your questions live on this show. Alternatively, you can use our YouTube platform where you're watching this show on. Send in your questions on the comment section below, as well as you can also use our other social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and LinkedIn, where we constantly put up our shows and you can access those shows and send in your queries over there too. And we will be happy to take all of these queries with top stock market experts for you. But first, let's start off with the top headlines we're tracking for you at noon. Stock markets inch higher as Fed pauses the rate hikes. Sensex up 220 points. The Nifty gains and hovers around 22,670 odd mark. FMCG, autos gain in trade while realty and IT drag. US Federal Reserve holds rates steady and signals that it is still leaning towards eventual reductions. Flags lack of further progress on inflation. Kotak Mahindra Bank shares fall 4% after joint MD resigns. Nuvama cuts the target price by 27%, says investors should look to switch to ICICI, Axis, IndusInd and HDFC Bank. Well, a warm welcome to all our viewers, and it's time to welcome our guest on the show as well. Akshay Bhagwat is now with us, the Senior VP, Derivatives Research at JM Financial Services. Good afternoon, Akshay, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Do tell us, as we see the markets inch higher after a day's holiday, how are you looking at the trading setup, and where exactly are you looking in for most profits that investors can keep an eye out on?
Good afternoon, Sakshi. Well, for the Nifty index, the day has begun well. Today is the weekly expiry for the index. And if you note the last trading session, you had a bit of choppiness near the all-time high levels. Nothing much to be concerned about because of the truncated week and the Fed policy. There was some bit of profit taking, but we are back to square one. Nifty should reattempt a breakout about 22,800, and once it does so, you should see the magical level of 23,000 plus being tested very soon. So I maintain a positive view on the index, and stock specific, if you are keen on which sector should do well, here clearly oil marketing companies are the flavor for the day. If you look at stocks, BPCL, IOC, HPCL, all are having a stupendous rally, and the intraday move itself is suggesting that the momentum is very strong. Here I would recommend BPCL as a trade which you can consider on the technical parameters. 633 is the current market price. The stock is heading for an upside target till 675. You can have a stop loss below 600 on this buy trade. So oil marketing companies are the way to go, and the other trade would be from the metals, which are also shining. They are also having a good recovery rally, and Vedanta would be my top pick here at 408. This stock is placed for heading to its upside targets of 435 to 440. The stop loss will be 395 on this buy trade. So BPCL and Vedanta are my two top trading bets for today.
All right, and time to start taking all the viewers' queries now. Our first caller is with us from Kerala and from Kannur. It's Vivek who has dialed in. Good afternoon, Vivek. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sakshi. I'm doing good.
How
are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Do tell me, which is your question today?
Yeah, I had a question on Union Bank. Wanted to know if the current price would be a good time to enter into Union Bank for, say, a year perspective.
Union Bank is what you want to know, and you want to take a fresh entry with a one-year perspective. Akshay, could you tell us? We have actually seen this entire banking space, especially the smaller rung banks, having a party over the last 6 months to a year perspective. Is it still a good enough time for an entry into Union Bank?
Sure, the chart structure of Union Bank is still good enough. If you look at the current way the stock price is trading, it's been a bit dull lately in the 1.5 month time frame. But chart-wise, the longer-term charts are still healthy. You can buy at the current levels. 140 to 160 is the range where the accumulation is happening in the stock. Broadly, the trend is strong, and the initial targets which I'm looking for is around 195. So this target I'm looking forward in the next 3 to 5 months time frame. That's the maximum time frame I look forward to. And even from the 1 month perspective, which you're looking forward, roughly 240 can be the projection which I have from a longer term perspective. Technically very strong. 120 is the support base for this stock. And as I mentioned, 195 and 240, these are the two target areas you should be working with in Union Bank. So consider it as a buy at the current market rates.
All right, Vivek, you've chosen a good stock. The technical charts look very strong at this point in time. Two targets for you, short term about 190 and a little medium term about 240 kind of targets is something that you can keep in your mind in case you have a slightly longer term time frame as well for Union Bank. But good time to take an entry into Union Bank. So that's the first one that we've got. We have another caller, and we do have Rahul on the call with us. Rahul has called in from Ajmer. Good afternoon, Rahul. बताइए आपका कौन सा स्टॉक है, किस पर आप सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं?
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम. मेरे पास हुडको के शेयर हैं, 100 शेयर हैं, और जैसे मैंने हुडको के 100 शेयर हैं 158 के रेट पे, तो रखूं या सेल कर दूं इसको?
ओके अक्षय, ये हटको पे सवाल है और हम लगातार पीएसयू स्टॉक्स में तो दमदार रैली देखने को मिल चुकी है अभी पिछले कुछ समय में, और हटको में इन्होंने जो एंट्री ली है 158 पर, उसके बाद अच्छे खासे प्रॉफिट पर भी बैठे हुए हैं. फिलहाल 224 रुपये पर ये शेयर चल रहा है. 100 शेयर्स हैं इनके पास, अभी और होल्ड कर सकते हैं या फिर प्रॉफिट बुक करने की सलाह रहेगी?
हुडको में बहुत बढ़िया एंट्री ली है आपने. तो मैं कहूँगा चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर अभी भी स्ट्रांग है, तो कोई जल्दबाजी नहीं करनी है आपको प्रॉफिट बुकिंग में. 3-4 दिन पहले अच्छा ब्रेकआउट देखने को मिला था. प्राइस सेटअप में 200 एक ब्रेकआउट पॉइंट था. तो मैं कहूँगा कि अभी आपको करना है कि आपको अपनी मुनाफा बांध लेनी है बाय ट्रेलिंग योर स्टॉप लॉस टू लेवल्स ऑफ 200. तो वर्स्ट केस में आप अगर बाई चांस विद द मार्केट वोलेटिलिटी 200 भी टेस्ट हो जाए तो आप प्रॉफिट में निकलेंगे. फिलहाल स्टॉप लॉस ट्रेल कर दीजिए 200 पे. मेरा मानना है कि 255 260 तक ये स्टॉक जाने की क्षमता रखता है. वहां आप अपनी पूरी टारगेट प्राइस पे बुक कर ले. तो फिलहाल रिवाइज स्टॉप लॉस एंड होल्ड फॉर टारगेट्स ऑफ 255 टू 260.
ठीक है, होल्ड कर सकते हैं 250 260 के आसपास के लिए आप होल्ड कर सकते हैं. आपके और ज़्यादा बेहतर आपको प्रॉफिट कमाने का मौका मिल सकता है स्टॉक पर, तो फिलहाल बने रहने की अभी सलाह है. हमारे पास अगली कॉलर भी है. आई थिंक सुहाना हैज़ नाउ डायल्ड इन. दिस इज़ फ्रॉम जालंधर. हाय सुहाना, गुड आफ्टरनून.
Hello ma'am, good afternoon. I wanted to ask, there are 1000 shares of JM Financial at 93. Should I wait for better prices?
Suhana, unfortunately, it will be difficult for Akshay to give a call on JM Financial since he belongs to the same company and there will be compliance issues. Is there any other stock that you want to ask a question on, Suhana?
No ma'am.
Okay. All right. Akshay, would you want to share with Suhana anything else that she can continue to focus on at this point in time, any stock?
Yes, you can, if you're keen on the financial services space, you can look at a stock called Nuvama Wealth Management. On the price charts, 5180 is the current market price. The stock has a strong chart structure, and my belief is that 5,000 is a good short-term support. 5,800 to 6,000 are the medium-term targets you can hold or buy this trade for. So Nuvama from the financial services space is the trade you can look forward to.
Okay, Nuvama Wealth is also doing very well. In case investors are looking at capital markets related or broking related stocks where you need to take an exposure, Nuvama is also one stock that you can continue to keep an eye out on as well. Let's move on to the next caller. We will be waiting for the next caller, but we do have some questions that are pouring in on our YouTube channel as well. Let's take those questions too. I think KD Pradhan has written to us, Akshay, and he wants to know about the future prospect of Tata Power over the next 6 months odd. We do know that Tata Power has been in the thick of action and the power space has been buzzing clearly with all across the board, be it the PSU stocks or the private sector stocks, they've all been buzzing. Over the last 6 months odd, the stock has moved up very sharply. A one-way move on the upside, 86% rally is what we have seen. Over the last 1 year, again, the stock has in fact seen investors' money getting doubled. 125% of a return is what the stock has given. But somebody who wants to invest afresh in Tata Power for the next 6 months, does the chart still look positive?
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, power sector is in the limelight and buzzing, and Tata Power is no exception. A very strong run up from 220 odd levels to 455 in a very short time frame, and still more momentum to go. That's what I understand. Roughly, the target projection from 5 to 6 month perspective should be around 525 on the upside. Should new investors consider this? Yes, but have a staggered buying approach. It's a bit overbought for comfort. So add at current rates and keep some space for buying on dips in case the opportunity presents you at around 430-35 zone. The targets would be the same, around 525. 400 is a very strong support. So as a risk management, have a stop loss below 400 and keep targets of 525 in Tata Power.
All right, 525 as a target in Tata Power is what you can keep, Mr. Pradhan. So this stock can continue to give you higher returns from here as well. I hope that answers your question. We do have the next caller. This is from Lucknow. Deepa has dialed in. So Deepa, good afternoon. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Go on, tell us what is the stock that you're holding?
I have 150 shares of Avanti Seeds of 408. Should I hold them or not?
Okay, 150 shares, Avanti Feeds at 408. Is there any time frame that you're looking at? Can you hold on for a longer term, maybe 1 year?
Yes.
You can hold. Okay, so for 1 year perspective, already sitting on good amount of profits, and even today the stock is up 6%. So you're sitting on good amount of profit. And at this point in time, Akshay, would you still want to say that the stock chart structure looks positive and can be held on?
Yes, definitely. Stock is trying to stage a breakout. As I look at the last 3 to 4 months chart, it's been in a range. 500 is the base which this stock is setting up, and now it is setting up for a breakout above the 600 mark, where you may see a strong surge of momentum in Avanti Seeds. So my thought is that hold on to the stock. From a medium-term perspective, that's around 3 months' time. You can have targets of 675 being seen. That's the point where you should consider taking off half of your profits. The remainder half, you should keep it as a long-term investment. Technically, the first target projection is 675. That is the point where the stock should be setting up for a major breakout. If it happens or not, that's a slight question mark for me. But assuming it happens, the target price should be 800 from a long-term perspective. So right now, you should be working with two targets. 675 where you book out half the quantity, and the remainder probably from a 1 year perspective, 800 is the ultimate target you should be working with.
All right. So I hope that answers your question on this one. A lot of other questions are also pouring in. RJ has written to us with a number of questions on several stocks that he wants to know. Would request you, in case you're watching this show live, to write in your full name and your location as well. So it will help us better understand as to who you are and connect to you as well. The first question that RJ has written is on 3 stocks. REC, PFC, both of these stocks are rallying in trade today, especially after the numbers for REC. The stock has shot up 9% odd, and there are indications that the company has said that they want to be NPA free by FY25, perhaps as one of the triggers on this one as well. And there is no stopping the rally in PFC as well. Both of these are Power Finance's names. And the other one that he has a question on is IOC. He wants to know what is the best price to take an entry into these stocks. Let's address PFC and REC first, Akshay. We've seen a stupendous rally. It continues to move on, but at one point in time, people think that, has the best of the rally already happened, and is it still a good time to enter into such stocks? What would you say?
Yes, power and power finance companies, these are hogging the limelight lately. And if you're looking from where to enter these counters, well, firstly, if you look at REC, and PFC, both of them have a very strong chart structure. It was just that from a short-term perspective, these stocks were in a slumber, you can say, were range bound. But last three sessions, they have seen a very strong breakout in a powerful move. So I may say that at the current rates where the stock is running, you should not get impatient and buy onto it, because there is a time where the stock may offer you an opportunity once the price cools down a bit. So I would suggest you that for REC Limited, 525 530 roughly is the level where you can consider getting back into the stock. So 525, 530 is your entry point. Your stop loss should be below 485 and your target area should be around 600. Moving on to PFC, similar chart structure, slight dip again would make me more comfortable to re-enter this position. 440 is the dip I look forward to. If you get those dips, yes, you should participate on the buy side. Your stop loss should be below 400 and the target area is around 545. So both of them are a buy. Just considering the fact they are on a strong run up, I would say let them cool down a bit and then you take your entry once the situation stabilizes.
Okay, so that's the view on REC and PFC. What about IOC now? Of course, oil and gas stocks, they have had the dream run in the recent past. But of course, the crude oil prices are now turning very, very volatile. Today, they have ebbed lower at around $84. And we've actually seen IOC results also not really impressing the markets. But despite this, there is some kind of a calming of nerves that IOC is looking at with the prices of crude falling now to the $84 a barrel mark at 173. Would you still be a buyer on IOC?
Yes, I would be a buyer in IOC. Now, if you look at the way the oil marketing companies are reacting today, it is primarily HPCL and BPCL which are having a strong run. IOC is a bit tamed considering the other two of its peers. The reason being, as you rightly mentioned, it was the the take on the results. The markets didn't react positively, but IOC is rebounding strong, and it's just a matter of time when on the price charts, you have a breakout above 180. So above 180, you will see a regain of momentum where the stock can hit an upside target till 195. That's the target you should be working with if you are a short to medium term trader. And slightly from a longer term perspective, 220 is the ultimate target which I project for IOC. So yes, buy it or consider adding it. Your stop loss from a long term perspective is below 150. Keep a target of 200, which is your first target, and your ultimate target is around 220.
Okay, ultimate target as 220 on IOC. So I hope that answers your question as well. A number of viewers are writing into us, but I'd like to request all the viewers, if you're writing, please do mention your name so that we can address you and let you know when we are taking your own question. It will be better for you to really understand, because this will be specific to you as answers that will be given to all our given by all our market experts on this show. So let me reiterate for all our viewers, in case you're writing to us on our WhatsApp number, follow this format. Write your name, write your location, send in your question, and then followed by your contact details as well. So it is easier for us to reply to you. If you're writing into us on our YouTube channel, again, in case you have any username, below that also you can mention your full name. That will be a better way to approach us as well. There's another question that has come in, Akshay, and this is without any name that we have got for now from our viewer. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank or Kotak Mahindra Bank, which is the best one to buy at this point in time? Of course, Kotak Mahindra Bank has been in the ire of the RBI and of course the top management shuffle that's happening, and therefore we are seeing a continuous decline on this one. However, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank after the earnings has also shown promise. How would you look at these two banks? And they're completely in different categories. One is a small finance bank and one is a major bank.
So first, Kotak Bank, certainly I would give this a miss at the current levels. The reason being, there's a lot of negative news doing around. So on the price chart, you need some stability. Maybe you might miss the bottom in case the stock reverses, but I would be more comfortable and confident once the stock shows an intention of reversal. So I would not consider buying it at current rate. 1500 is the support roughly. It's rebounding, but really doesn't make a case for buying, anticipating a dip. So I would give this a miss. And considering Ujjivan Financial Small Finance Bank, the volumes are really very very dull. There is lack of activity at 53 odd levels. It may kind of just bounce up till 58 or 60. So really, I'm not getting a good trade in this too. I would say if you're keen on the private banking space, you should look at Federal Bank here. This is one stock which is also supported by news, which had a gap up on the upside today. And also, secondly, it's trying to move out of a chart range breakout after 3 to 4 months. I'm projecting targets till 119 Federal Bank. Support is 150. So Federal Bank would be my top bet if you are keen on the private banking space over at the current levels.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. We also have another caller who is dialed in now from Mumbai. Akash has called in. Good afternoon, Akash. बताइए आपका सवाल किस पर है?
नमस्ते मैम, मैं आकाश गुरियान बोल रहा था मुंबई से।
जी
मैम, मेरे पे ग्लोब एविएशन के 80 शेयर्स हैं, तो मैम उसमें मुझे क्या करना चाहिए आगे फ्यूचर के लिए? या से अभी प्रॉफिट बुक करनी चाहिए या फिर अभी अपने पास रखना चाहिए उन शेयरों को?
आपका परचेज क्या प्राइस है, आकाश?
मैम, मैंने लगभग ही 3,500 के आसपास रुपये के आसपास खरीदे थे ये।
3,500 के आसपास आपने खरीदे हुए हैं, इंडिगो के शेयर्स आपने खरीदे हुए हैं। और डेफिनेटली अक्षय, ये स्टॉक फोकस में भी है लगातार अपनी फ्लीट को बढ़ाने के लिए। और जिस तरीके से ये इंडियन स्काइज में मार्केट शेयर सबसे ज़्यादा ओन करता है, एक प्रॉफिटेबल एविएशन कंपनी है, सक्सेस स्टोरीज़ है एक ऐसी इंडस्ट्री में जहाँ पर हमने लगातार बहुत सारे और प्लेयर्स को ख़त्म होते हुए भी देखा है, बहुत टर्बुलेंट फेसेस से गुजरते हुए देखा है। लेकिन इंटरग्लोब एविएशन डेफिनेटली एक ऐसा स्टॉक रहा है जिसने पिछले 1 महीने में भी 14% तक का रिटर्न दिया है और पिछले कई साल में निवेशकों को काफ़ी ज़्यादा पैसे कमा के दिए हैं। 4073 का करंट प्राइस है, यानी कि काफ़ी अच्छे प्रॉफिट में अभी रुके हुए हैं। आकाश, अभी आप उनको क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे कि प्रॉफिट लेकर निकल जाएं या फिर अभी भी बने रहें और अच्छी खासी रिटर्न्स यहाँ से भी देखने को मिल सकते हैं?
मैं कहूँगा आकाश जी, आपने बहुत ही अच्छे स्तर पे एंट्री ली है स्टॉक में। और अभी तक जिस तरीके का प्राइस सेटअप देख रहा हूँ मैं इंडिगो में, कोई रिवर्सल या प्रॉफिट बुकिंग के मेजर संकेत नहीं दिख पा रहे। थोड़ा ओवरबॉट जरूर है शॉर्ट टर्म में, बट ये टेम्पररी में भी 4200 के आसपास एक बार रुक सकता है। मैं कहूंगा कि आप होल्ड कीजिए। चाहिए तो अपना स्टॉप लॉस आप रिवाइज करके 3600 तक लेके आ सकते हैं। सपोर्ट 3800 तक बन चुका है। अगर कुछ भी आपको मुनाफा वसूली करनी है तो 4200 पे थोड़ी सी आप जो शेयर आपने ली है उसकी आधी क्वांटिटी में आप मुनाफा बांध सकते हैं। ओवरऑल मेरा प्रोजेक्शन है कि आप थोड़ी अगर होल्डिंग की क्षमता रखे आप तो 4500 तक आपको इंडिगो दिख सकता है। तो 4500 के टारगेट के लिए बने रहे। 4200 में थोड़ी सी आपको प्रॉफिट बुक कर लेनी है। तो पॉजिटिव व्यू है 3800 के सपोर्ट से। होल्ड इंडिगो, ये मेरी सलाह रहेगी।
ओके, होल्ड ऑन करने की सलाह फिलहाल आपके लिए है, यहाँ पर आप बने रहें। अक्षय, आप हमारे साथ बने रहें। वी डू हैव लॉट ऑफ अदर क्वेरीज दैट विल बी कमिंग इन एंड वी विल टेक फ्रॉम यू, बट दिस इज ऑल्सो द अर्निंग सीजन एज वेल एंड वी डू नो दैट अ नंबर ऑफ अर्निंग्स आर कमिंग इन एंड दिस टाइम अराउंड आई डिड स्पीक टू 5-star business finance management to understand where exactly what exactly is the future looking for the company. This is a non-banking finance company, especially on the fact that the assets under management have actually seen a sharp growth for the company of about 39% on a year-on-year basis. What does the outlook look like? Let's listen into the top management to find out. Under management as well, again you have seen a very strong growth. About 9,600 odd crore rupees is where you are at currently. Your estimate, I believe, for FY25 was somewhere to the tune of 12,500 odd crore rupees. Is that doable? Are you looking to revise it upwards?
First question, is that doable? Definitely. We don't see any challenge, reaching a 30% or north of 30% kind of a growth. Very clearly, like I said, demand is there. We have the execution ability to go out there and satisfy the demand of these customers. So we don't see issue from a demand or an execution perspective. See, at this point of time, we are not looking at revising our growth guidance upward because of primarily, the entire macroeconomic environment and the regulator wanting NBFCs and banks, not just us, but across the large NBFCs, the banks, and every company out there in the financial services domain, the regulator has been cautioning them to be a little more moderate in their growth. So at this point of time, we will continue to keep our guidance of 30+% for the next financial as well. If there is a positive surprise that comes through, if the situations improve beyond our expectations or beyond the expectations of the regulators, I think pushing this up is not going to be a challenge for us given the execution engine that we have. But at this point of time, given macroeconomic conditions, nothing to do with the company. The company is in a very strong position, but given the overall conditions in the economy, we would prefer to stay at around 30 plus kind of a growth that we've been delivering for the last 2 years.
Okay, but you're already at nearly that 10,000 odd crore rupees mark. In the future, how soon do you see that 20,000 mark or the doubling of this figure really coming in for you?
So our belief, Sakshi, is that in the next 3 years, we should be a 20,000 plus crore kind of a company, which means roughly a CAGR of at about 28 to 30% is what we are looking at. So internal target for us is 20,000 crores plus by FY27. Yeah, fingers crossed at this point of time. We are confident, but hopefully, all the omens need to align for us to achieve this number.
All right, so that was the confident management as far as the doubling of the AUM is concerned over the next 3 years by FY27. We do have 2 more queries and time for just that on the show. One is a query on Twitter that we have got. This is from Vijay from Chennai. 200 shares of Varroc Engineering at the rate of 378 is what Vijay has got. He wants to know, Akshay, from you, should he book profit on Varroc Engineering at the current levels?
For Varroc Engineering, I may say that you can consider holding it still. The chart structure is still positive, but you need to keep small, slightly conservative targets, roughly around 550. Right now, as I see, there is slightly some more upside to go. So around 550 is where you should be looking to book profits. Revise the stop loss in this trade around 510 at current market price.
Okay, just one last query, Akshay, before we let you go, and this is again from our YouTube viewer Sandeep Pancharya. He wants to know on Popular Vehicle and Services. He holds 65 shares at 295. He wants to know, should he hold or sell? Sandeep Pancharya is from Jodhpur, Rajasthan, and he wants to know Popular Vehicle and Services. Would you have a view on this one, Akshay?
Yes. So PSVL, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely.
So this share is currently, it's more, the volumes are not that very active. So it's very difficult to kind of project a long-term target in this going by the price structure. So I may say that really it's better you book out in this and move to some better script. So really there is no potential for some major gain, which I see as of now going by the price and the volume setup. So I would say book out and consider some other share in the mid-cap space. Zomato can be one stock on your watch list. This has a very strong technical structure, and at the price of 195, you can easily have targets of 240 to 250 in the long term. So I would suggest take a switch over to better shares.
Okay, got that. So, Sandeep, it's better that you book out of this one. You will need to book some losses here. But in case you can switch to another mid-cap stock, Zomato has been suggested to you. There you have a potential of, reaping in higher profits and also covering your losses here. So, better to go to those stocks that can actually give you better returns from here on. And even today, Zomato is up by 1% after having risen over the last period of time. Over the last 1 month, it's up 7% odd, and last 6 months to a year, the stock has nearly doubled as well. Many thanks, Akshay, for being with us on this show and sharing all those insights and addressing all the queries from our viewers as well. Truly appreciate your time with us on Business Today and on Daily Calls. Viewers, with that we wrap up, but do send your questions to us on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screens. Do not forget to mention your name, location and your contact details when you send us your queries. This is essential. Why have we come up with this special show for you is that every time you are confused about a stock that you already hold in your portfolio or you want to buy afresh, instead of taking views from here or there or relying on social media tips, stick with the advice that is given by registered top stock market experts. On this show, we get you top market experts from registered, SEBI registered, who are SEBI registered and also belong to top brokerage houses in the country as well, so that they can give you authentic advice. So do stick to those advice and stay invested in the markets for profitable returns and not losses.
The Election Commission ended days of suspense and released final turnout figures for the first and second